Hi, my name is Rachel, and I sing for the band GRAVESHADOW. I think, like most artists, we are driven to create music from personal experience. And I can really only talk about myself because obviously I'm here in Ohio. They're all the way in California, so I don't have them, right in front of me to give me, these answers. But me personally, I've, worked through my own trauma and my own experiences, and I put a lot of that into my music. And it started at first as, a passionate and wonderful outlet, and it's definitely evolved into something much bigger than that. But I would definitely say, these things that I feel so deeply and personally about, and my own traumas, my own personal life, that's why I still continue to create, because that's that outlet for me personally. So, not being with the band originally, I am unsure of the complete origin story of the band name. Whenever I first heard it, I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll join GRAVESHADOW. That's awesome. I liked the band name personally. However, I think, if I remember correctly, what Will has told me is that they originally wanted to name the band Raven Blood, which is less cool, in my opinion, by the way. But they wanted to name the band Raven Blood. Or no, I'm sorry. They wanted to name the band Raven Shadow, Raven Blood, something like that. Again, like I'm hazy on these details because I wasn't there from the beginning, but it was a name that was already taken, and so GRAVESHADOW was not, and so they're like, let's go with that. Which, fair enough, but I think that they won the name game because I feel it's a much better choice for us. So our newest record that we have coming out is called The Uncertain Hour. That does come out on July 15th. We're super excited about it. This will be the first full length that I've been with the band. This is also the first full length featuring the new lineup that includes Lucy, our bassist, and Bones, our drummer. So that is, kind of the new incarnation of GRAVESHADOW, and we're excited to, feature the new lineup and really feature the hard work that we've been doing. It has been a really long but rewarding process. I've been doing a lot of my recording with Justin Oftekomp from Miss May I here in Ohio, and flown out a couple of times to do work out in California. So we're really, really, really excited. I think that the overall arcing theme of the record was reason within chaos, and we kind of developed it over the pandemic too. So I think that was kind of the perfect time to really get into that way of thinking and that theme and understand it and really put it into a record. So yeah, we're really excited for that to come out. Like I said, July 15th is when the release date for that is. So the lyrics on this particular release, I'm just going to come out and say that at least two of us, me and Aaron, are absolute weeb trash. And before I say that, or before I elaborate on that, there's nothing wrong with that. But we are so inspired by anime culture, and we're really inspired by fantasy culture too. So every song on this record, we took inspiration from a fandom that we really enjoy. And lyrically, most of these are mine, with the exception of one that was Will's, but everything else was, kind of my brainchild, and, Aaron and Will kind of, tweaking things here and there. So we have songs on this record. We have a couple of Witcher songs, which we're really excited about. And I was really happy to include more than one. We have two Yu Yu Hakusho songs, which is one of my favorite animes from, when I was a kid watching TV. We have a couple. We have one about Rurouni Kenshin. So, like I said, a lot of anime representation there. Will wrote one also about World of Warcraft. So really, like I said, this whole like a love of anime and weeb trash fandom, kind of mixed with our love of fantasy as well, is kind of coming in together in this reason meets chaos, reason within chaos fandom styled record, which is something that I've never done before. And I'm really excited that we get to do it now. So as far as the album cover is we were kind of going for like a deep, dark, foresty type of vibe. I think it goes along with the overarching theme of the record. And then we also have Sally on the back, and Sally's kind of they like to call her our resident witch. And, I haven't, this is obviously my first time that I ever get to envision her in a new light, but she's also on the back, and she's, kind of had her own transformation. So again, we're going for, dark without those fantasy elements, but also beautiful. Honestly, as far as newer artists are concerned, my favorite band ever is Airborne. And so Airborne released Bone Shaker in 2019. And I thought that was a great record. And so, I've been riding off of that. Over the pandemic, I got really heavily into bands like Baby Metal too, which, they're one of the most interesting and fresh artists that I think I've seen within the last 10 years, as well as Bandmade. I really like Bandmade as well. So a lot of these wonderful bands that are kind of coming out of Japan that are in that, like rock metal vein, that are finally making their way, well, not in Baby Metal's case, but maybe in Bandmade's case, over to the United States, and deserve a lot more recognition. That's kind of where my, new release radar has been. That being said, I'll listen to just about anything anybody gives me. So I can really only talk about my local music scene. So GRAVESHADOW is, all of them are either in Sacramento, California, or San Francisco, California. And so I do a lot of traveling out that way, but I am not in that local music scene. That's not where I'm at. I've been in several local music scenes, so I can really only speak to those experiences. But I'm from Maryland. So I'm from closer to Hagerstown, but technically I'm like right on the border. I'm right on the border of Maryland, Pennsylvania. And so that music scene in particular, not a lot going on there, but there's a lot going on in Baltimore. And there's a lot more going on in DC. DC's very, at least from what I remember, growing up there, is that a lot of punk bands came from DC and Virginia and West Virginia, and a lot of our metal bands were also in Baltimore. But shortly after, after I grew up and I moved to Chicago, and I was in the Chicago music scene for a while. And the Chicago metal scene is also just absolutely fantastic. There's some great players there. But now I've kind of, and I'm speeding through this because I could talk about both of these scenes at length, but I'm going to focus on the one that I'm in right now. And that's the Ohio. I'm currently in the Dayton area of Ohio, which it's always funny to me that everybody likes to knock Ohio, but there's industry professionals from all over the country that decide to live here. So like I was saying, we've done work with Justin Offenkamp of Miss May I. Justin is here, and Miss May I is a great band. Dayton also boasts Hawthorne Heights, which I've always loved Hawthorne Heights because I'm old and I grew up there, listening to their music. And Dayton also has, some really great up-and-coming bands, pop-punk bands like You Versus Yesterday. So, I mean, again, like it's understated compared to the rest of the country, Ohio is. But if you're in the industry, there's actually quite a few people that live here and network and are, flying other places and doing other things. And they call this home because, the rent's cheap, we can own a house, and we can afford to live here compared to maybe some other places in the country. So, the local music scene here is pretty fun. I do enjoy going out to live shows and meeting new people, but then also, there's industry here as well. And, you never know who you're going to find hiding around the corner. As far as future plans for the band is concerned, right now we are, kind of tunnel vision, full speed ahead on this record. And we're gearing up for the release of The Uncertain Hour, and that's where our mindset is. We certainly plan on touring and announcing a tour, which stay tuned for that. And moving forward, we'd love to get into Europe. That is a huge goal of mine. I think that we would want to play the European circuit, but two, we think that we could develop a European fan base, and they might actually really enjoy the material that we're putting out. So right on the horizon is we have that record coming out. We have another video single that we do plan on releasing as well. But past that, and immediate tours that we have kind of lined up, we have our sights set on Europe. Me in particular, I want to go to places like Germany. I want to play in Germany. I want to play in Spain. I want to play in Italy. I want to play in France. I want to play in the Czech Republic. I want to go over to Europe bad. So I would say my personal goals for this band are to get over there and to meet those cool people over in Europe. Why does metal rule is an interesting question to ask, because if I didn't love what I did, I wouldn't be in a metal band. But maybe I'm thinking of this question like, why did you choose to be in a metal band in particular? And I've always said that I am a rock lover and I'm a rock singer that fell into a metal outfit and loved it. And what I mean by that is that I grew up really idolizing artists like AC/DC and Ann Wilson of Heart and Kix and Rhino Bucket and all of these really cool pub rock bands. And growing up with that, I said, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And I had ability that I think wasn't suited for pub rock, but it was much more suited for a heavy metal outfit. But I also had love for bands like Scorpions and Queensryche and Accept and Saxon. And so I got to a point where I just loved the aggressiveness of the music. I loved that, particularly with our new metal scene, that it uplifts and supports women. And I loved the people. I love the people in both hard rock and metal. But I definitely found a lot of the people within the metal scene. And I felt like I was accepted within their community. So, metal rules because of the fans, really, and the people in the community that are continually supporting.